You're looking for a laptop that actually lets you game, work, and stream without constantly wondering if you'll hit a wall, and you don't want to waste money on a machine that's all flash and no substance. The moment you start scrolling through specs, you can feel the hesitation. 64 GB of RAM sounds insane, a 240Hz panel is tempting, but what does that really mean when you sit down at a coffee shop or try to run a long-haul rendering session? Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. I dug into the ROG Strix G16 because the name promises unrivaled performance, but the real test is whether that performance translates into a smooth day-to-day experience and whether the price matches what you actually get. First off, the most immediate impression you get when you open the G16 is the sheer size of the screen. A 16-inch WQXGA display at 240Hz is a rarity in the laptop world, and it shows up clearly when you fire up a fast-paced shooter or scroll through a spreadsheet with multiple columns. In practice, that high refresh rate smooths out motion so well that mouse jitter virtually disappears, which is a tangible benefit for competitive gamers who rely on pixel-perfect tracking. For a creator who does video editing, the extra vertical real estate lets you see more timeline, while the color accuracy, while not calibrated out of the box, is decent enough for rough cuts before you move to a dedicated monitor. The heart of the machine is the Intel i9-14900HX, a 24-core beast that, on paper, should crush anything you throw at it. In the real world, you'll notice the difference when you have dozens of browser tabs, a couple of VMs, and a game running side by side. The laptop can juggle those workloads without a noticeable dip in frame rates, which is a practical advantage for streamers who need OBS, the game, and chat all running simultaneously. However, that power comes with a price. The laptop runs hot under sustained load. In my testing, after an hour of continuous 1080p gaming, the chassis temperature rose to the mid-80 SC, and the fans kicked into an audible whine that can be distracting in a quiet room. If you plan to use the laptop in a shared space or for late-night work, you might need to accept that trade-off or invest in a cooling pad. Storage and memory are where the G16 tries to future-proof itself. A 4TB SSD means you can install several large games, a full suite of creative apps, and still have room for raw video footage without constantly managing space. The 64GB of DDR5 RAM is overkill for most gamers, but if you're a developer compiling large codebases or a data analyst running in-memory datasets, that headroom can shave minutes off processing times. The practical upside is you won't be forced to upgrade for at least a few years. On the downside, that much RAM and storage adds to the cost, and many buyers will never tap into that capacity, making the price feel inflated relative to their actual usage. Battery life is another reality check. With a 99 Wh battery, the laptop promises decent endurance, but the combination of a high-refresh screen and a power-hungry CPU means you're looking at roughly 3 to 4 hours of mixed use before you need to plug back in. If your primary use case is marathon gaming sessions at home, that's acceptable because you'll be near an outlet anyway. But if you're hunting for a portable workhorse that can last through a commute, the G16 falls short compared to slimmer ultrabooks that can stretch 8 hours on lighter hardware. Now, who should actually consider buying this machine? If you're a serious competitive gamer who values a buttery smooth 240Hz experience, need a laptop that can also handle heavy multitasking like streaming, video editing, or 3D rendering, and you're comfortable spending a premium for top-tier components, the Strix G16 aligns with those needs. It also makes sense for power users who want a single device that can replace a desktop workstation for on-the-go projects, especially when you factor in the lifetime Microsoft Office license that comes pre-installed, an often overlooked cost saver for students or professionals who need the suite every day. Who should skip it? If your gaming is casual, you mainly play older titles, or you prioritize long battery life and a quieter workspace, you'll likely find better value in a mid-range laptop with a 144Hz screen and a less aggressive CPU. The same goes for budget-conscious creators who don't need 64GB of RAM. A 16GB model paired with a mid-range GPU can deliver comparable results for most video projects while keeping the price in check. Also, if you travel frequently and need a light, easy-to-carry device, the G16's 6+ pound chassis and the heat it generates under load may become a daily inconvenience. A hidden trade-off that often catches buyers off guard is the keyboard. The backlit keys are full-size and have decent travel, which feels comfortable for long typing sessions, but the layout is slightly shifted to accommodate the larger screen, so you may need a brief adjustment period. The tactile feel isn't as refined as some of ASUS's other ROG models that